happy Toe Talk Tuesday, my friend Christina.
Happy Toe Talk Tuesday.
Oh my goodness, you had quite an experience for over the last 3.5 days.
Yes.
So why don't you tell everyone what you did, and then we can jump into Toe Talks.
Okay. Well, I did a darkness retreat. It was a DIY darkness retreat. I just want to like I don't have a company I can recommend for it, but we did a really good job on our DIY darkness retreat. It was a very interesting experience to be by myself, just me and my thoughts, with no sound, no light, very little food. That was a choice that I made. I had water and cacao as my nourishment. And when I say water, like I put electrolytes and stuff in it, but it was very interesting medicine. And one of the things that happened to me when I was in there was, of course, I was massaging my toes because I mean, you know,
Good.
I'm working on my toes to shift some energies. And my toe that I broke, and it was still interesting on the day before I went into the darkness retreat. I was wiggling, it's the fifth toe on my right foot, just checking it out because it had still kind of been hurting. Like if I wiggled it or if I bumped it. And then at one point, and of course I don't know when, but at some point in that darkness retreat, I wiggled that fifth toe and it didn't hurt anymore. Gone. Like, and I'm wiggling it right now as we're talking, and it doesn't hurt. So I was able to do some massage on that little toe, which is one of my toes that I do a lot of work with.
So I love this because in the episode where we talked about you were in, just to refresh people's memory, you were in Ecuador uh, on another retreat, and you broke your fifth toe, and you had to walk around Quito with a broken toe. And we shared stories about how that's a toe that often gets broken. It's the trust toe, trust and prosperity, and a lot of us have trust issues.
Yeah.
And I love what you're sharing because here you are doing an incredibly unique kind of experience that required not just, like most retreats, you're in community with people. Like, this is really a retreat where, like you said, you were by yourself for 72 hours in the dark. And just the amount of trust that you have to process and work through to get yourself uh, through that. So I would love to. I feel like this is like going to be an interview episode. Um, um, yeah. So, like, I love that you're saying it didn't, like, the some of the pain went away, or all the pain went away.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm curious what kinds of questions were you asking yourself and asking that toe as you were massaging it in this, and maybe how were those questions influenced by doing it in the dark?
Great questions. So, because that is the trust and prosperity toe as it pertains, because it was on the right side to the outside world, to my experience in the out here of the world, some of the questions that I would ask were different iterations of who can I trust? And when I say who, like obviously these are people outside of me. What can I trust? And am I open to surrendering my control over outcomes that are external? Because if you look at the two toes of my my left one, like I have a deep trust in myself. Going into this darkness experience, I actually had no doubt about myself being able to like handle it or choosing to opt out if it wasn't going to work for me. Like I have this deep trust in myself. My trust issues, if you will, really are about the outside. And so they were questions to do with surrendering, being that vulnerability in trusting, and also in that receiving. Now, I know that receiving is a feminine quality, so we would normally associate that with the left, the receiving. And if we have blocks around that, that can also show up in the right side, because you're blocking yourself because you don't trust in those who would give. And when I say those who would give, I mean the universe, I mean the earth, I mean everything who would give in order to receive. So there was a lot of that questioning going on. And then in the other video, I talked about how when I broke that fifth toe, the message really was, are you ready to shift the family patterns, the ancestral lineage? What's in your DNA that is written around prosperity and scarcity? And we all have this at some level. Most people have this at some level. And I've done readings with people all over the world. You can actually look at different heritages or histories of different areas of the world and their scarcity prosperity stories that are highly influenced by genetics and locations. Anyway, so really looking at that as being healed and whole. So it is safe to receive. I don't have to earn my keep. I don't, I don't have to work myself to death in order to be worthy to receive. Because again, that trust and prosperity, it does come down also to that worthiness. So clearly, lots of thoughts happened in the dark around this whole theme.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just like nodding as you're speaking because I can like I feel the energy. You and I have been friends for a while. Like I feel and I see the shift in you. Um, I'm curious, and because we often talk about like what does massaging your toe look like? So what types of massaging did you do as you were
Mhm.
asking those questions specifically to that fifth toe? Um, yeah, like what were some of the, and then and especially because you can't see what it looks like while you're doing it, right? So there's also that element of trust of like, um
Mhm.
I trust that the massaging that I'm doing is in the best and highest good of this toe in this moment.
Right. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I was really grateful for was I did have some lotion with me, just to take care of my skin. And so that was great for the massage. So if this is the side of the foot, I'm just going to demonstrate here. There was a lot of work right down there at the base, because that's actually where I broke. It was right where the toe connects with the foot. So there was a lot down here. Now remember, this is generational stuff. So as I'm doing this, this is where I'm working on that generational stuff, because it's already into the foot. And as we've talked about before, I do have a prominent sixth toe. And so that bone there, massaging that. And then this movement up like this. So this almost in my mind, I'm pulling out the energy. We're done with that energy. I'm releasing that energy. And then I have a sad little nail on that toe. And so I did a lot of across the nail like this, just encouraging that nail to connect with the tissue of the toe, with the skin, because I do have a very lifted nail on that, which shows in toe reading that disassociation, that detachment, if you will, that yeah, those are great words for when you have a nail that's not making a lot of contact with the toe, even back at the base. So a lot of just around that, and just letting that toe know it's okay to come in and to attach. It's safe to receive and to be in deep connection with someone else. Now, this is what's fascinating, because somebody listening to this who knows me well would be like, what? Because that's what I do. I hold safe, connective spaces for people through retreats, through trainings, through coaching, like this very connected container is my gift. That's what I do. And so to hear me talk about this as if this is something that I need to work on, but here's the wounds to wisdom in this. I know what so intimately, so deeply, so in my very bones, how it feels to not be connected, how it feels to not be safe, how it feels to be in an unsure container where is it safe to be vulnerable here? Can I really let all of my free flag fly, or are there parts of me that I have to hold back? And so because I'm so intimately acquainted with that wound, this is where the wisdom comes in, being able to facilitate spaces where, yeah, you can let the whole freak flag fly. And in fact, or here's another one, people are like, leave your shit at the door and come on in. No, no, no. I say, bring that in and we're going to dig through it.
Yeah.
So, but it's my gift because of the wounds, generational and in this body, of not feeling safe within that. So there's this full circle thing, and this toe actually has a lot to do with it, and has since childhood when I started breaking it, because as the toe I've broken, I don't know, like well over 6 and possibly like a dozen times. Like I have broken it so many times. So a lot of healing happened.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I think that that's such a powerful, um, it's such a powerful, I don't want to say mantra, but like realization or awareness that the concept of wounds to wisdom, right? And I think we often don't give ourselves permission to, or we talk about the plumber with the leaky pipes, or like I don't, right, practice with, like I'm the yoga teacher who doesn't do yoga, like there's a lot of the gifts that we're here to share with others is because we can reflect so deeply what others needs are, because like you like from a human design we would use the language like an opening or an undefined center, right, where you are here to be a mirror and to mirror the people around you and to know what their needs are and to be able to hold that space, because um and so and it can be a lot harder to reflect to ourselves, right, and using what you're describing of knowing and being intimately connected to the wound in order to transmute it, alchemize it into wisdom, having a tool like a communication partner like your toes is a wonderful way to do that, because it does allow, as I'm like watching you, and hearing you speak, it allows you to kind of step outside of yourself, even though it is yourself, but you're talking to, right? Like you're talking to your toes instead of like talking to air around you and having a conversation. Um, you know, like if I was just sitting here and talking to an imaginary version of myself in a chair, like looking down at your toes, talking to your toes, it's an external part of yourself. And so I love that. It's one of the things I really love about toe reading, because it does allow you to have these deep connections, deep conversations with yourself, and to hold space for yourself in the same way that you can hold space for others, in your openness and your wisdom. So, yay, toe
Beautiful.
reading.
Yay, toe
And yay,
reading.
healing broken toes.
Well, and can I bring up one other? I'm going to just shift a little bit here, but that is one of the gifts you touched on it so beautifully, of being able to have this mirror of yourself through your toes. And there is a disconnection point, if you will, where it feels like, this is almost outside of me. So you have that objectivity, and it is a part of you. So that's another beautiful thing that I see over and over is when people observe their toes, when people observe and start to understand or ask the toes the message that it's here to share, then from this disconnection almost, which will continue to serve, right? Like it is a far thing from your brain. And so you're looking at it as something that might be this third person, but then when you bring it in, those lessons, those messages, those energies that we're shifting can actually happen really quickly. It's like the observer effect. It's like why we do astrology and human design too. When you do a reading with someone for human design and you tell them something that they already know, and then just through that observation, and they may not know it here, but then you tell them and they know it. Yeah. In your heart and in your head, then the observer effect can kick in and changes can really happen with that person so rapidly. And that's what we see with the toes as well. So it's almost this, it's not almost, it's like this dual purpose means of communication, one from an outside third party almost observer, but then also from this very internalized place that you can bring it in and embody it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So for as we're wrapping up, little recap, Christina's toe is healed. Yay! And part of the massaging, as you know, I know it was intuitive for you, but just to recap for people who are listening who maybe want to follow, who might be new to this and they're like, what, you know, more instruction or what do I do if the intuition's a little off? Imagining that like your hand is your foot, you are massaging really at the base at that insertion point of the toe to the base of to the foot, giving it a little rub, and then bringing that energy up from the base all the way to the tip of the toe, pulling it out, envisioning it being released out into the world, and then really giving that nail some extra love, massaging it, letting it know that it was safe to connect to the tissue below and also to lower itself down because yours was pointing up. Do you have any? Mine's actually points down. My toe nail is very like glued to my foot. So for somebody like me, what would you recommend for that little nail piece as we're finishing up?
So when you have a nail that sticks so tight and there's really like it doesn't, it curls over almost the tip rather than creating, you know, a disconnected from the tissue part, that's actually shielding. Like that's a major shielding. So just to contrast, if there's a disconnection, like you're completely unprotected, but you have chosen the protection of disconnection, disassociation. Whereas when it's covering, you're really protecting yourself and then not letting other energies in. So in this case, in the right fifth toe, for you, it would be it's safe. And even doing a visualization of like putting that shield aside. It's safe. I don't need to walk around with a shield out in front of me, and see what form that shield takes. Like, is it like a metal shield? Is it round? Is it like shield shaped? What is it made of? Is it made out of feathers, like soda can like lids, cement? Like there's all these different things that you can look at as you're massaging that toe to see what it looks like, and then you can learn more about it from there. What was your shield made out of, Marissa?
Oh, I have to do this. I don't know. So I'm going to do this and I will check back in. I will do this.
Let's do it for the next Toe Talk
Let's do
Tuesday.
it for the next Toe Talk Tuesday for sure. Because, so first of all, I really love it as an art project, not for nothing. But I also, just reflecting back, I wanted, yeah, I don't feel like I have an answer right now. So, but for those of you who are listening, I would love, and I know I speak for both of us, to hear what is, if your toenail is pointing down, on what does your toenail look like on that fifth toe? Is it pointing down? Is it pointing up? How does that resonate with some of the stories that you know about yourself? Everything that you said about shield, protecting, trust. Yep, got, I check, 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 right? Um, and then also, we would love to hear your experience if you like taking time massaging that toe, um, and and if there were anything different massage techniques that you were intuitively drawn. Like as I'm doing it on my finger, I'm kind of twisting my finger, so I feel like that's, and my toe's a little twisted, so I know that
Great
that's
one.
something that I'm intuitively drawn to do to my toe. Um, this is the magic of toe talk. This is why Christina and I get so excited about it. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Click like and subscribe, drop in comments. And if you have any specific questions you want us to touch on another Toe Talk Tuesday, let us know as well. And we'll be back next week.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.